Hey everybody, Bob Chick. I am back. A long trip in the UK for the Arnold. But we're back in Savannah, Georgia now. As you can see, a beautiful day outside, 75 and sunny. Not too bad for March. And everybody keeps asking what's going on with the gym. Everybody wants updates. We got new equipment coming. We've been doing renovations. So we're going to take a little bit of portion of this episode to show you what's been going on. And as you can see, nothing really crazy in the main gym itself. We started putting up some memorabilia. I've got some cover shots that I'm having blown up. We're going to put those up because it's kind of cool. And right now they're just in a stack in the other room. So I think it'd just be a little bit nicer and kind of dress the gym up. And we are making some room because all the old stuff is going. Don't know if you can see it, but the Icarian pieces, which I've had for some years now, are great pieces of equipment, but they're older. And really when you put them next to the Panada stuff, listen, it's not even close. I mean, the Panada is the best equipment in the world. Luckily, I've got a great relationship with them, and we do some great business together, and I have got about 9 or 10 pieces coming. So literally, I've just given a date of April 15th, which is coming up in just a few weeks, for it to get into port and then to here. So hopefully that's not too long, but I got to try to get a list compiled together because I've actually forgotten. I've got so much stuff coming. But you can see over here, my dumbbells, which I catch a lot of flack for. Yes, I know they're power blocks, folks, but that's all I had for a long time. And now I've got a full set of Panada custom dumbbells coming. It's a little mishmash of everything, but that's all going to be replaced. All brand new plates coming, courtesy of my good friends at Panada. We've got a brand new chest incline, an adjustable chest incline that goes all the way up to a shoulder press, a squatting machine, 2 back pull-down machines, a reverse delt machine that also counters, seeing this stuff obviously would help. I'm going to have to throw up some pictures. Counters as a pec deck, kind of gives you some different things that you can do, obviously, for a workout. We want as much stuff as I can cram into this place. Speaking of which, I might have to expand. That door right there actually goes into the other room. Probably can't see nothing, but you can see it's just a tool room. We've got a Forerunner, some different things, but we might have to renovate this actually just to fit this equipment. So while we've been kind of mixing and matching, anybody that knows that owns a gym knows that you can map it out as well as you want until you get the equipment in there, and then the whole thing changes because you got to have room to get around, room to navigate and be able to get workouts in. Even though we don't have a lot of traffic here, it's basically me and Joey from next door, and our buddy Shay joins in. You still want some good room, but you can see the 442s are charged up and ready to go. Those are on trickle charge for all you car aficionados. Knows that you got to have that going, so I'm going to be firing those up a little bit later on. Another piece of Icarian that's going. And what you'll notice is from the last time we shot this is the lounge is gone. Remember all the pieces of furniture? You got to have the lounge, right? It's all gone, making way for all this new equipment, but not to be outdone. We have actually made a lounge. I found a big storage room that I had, and I found that it was just big enough to fit everything in there, so check it out. You can see with the long shot here, we got some more rubber for the expansion, and of course, because I wanted everything to be matching here. Don't need carpet here in Savannah, Georgia. What do you think, Ace? Come on in, buddy. And we have created this, the lounge. This is where all the important decisions take place, and we're not quite done with it yet, but you can see we've done, I took out all the shelves that were in here and all the junk that was in here. And it's just a nice little area to just kind of hang around, kick around. Got a TV up here. We can watch some manly movies like Pumping Iron. Football games would be great here. This old house, all those things that I kind of like. You can see I got, something that's on there. Clearly my daughter must have been in here watching that. Anyway, Ace, what do you think, buddy? Unless that was you. Yeah, come on up here, buddy. Come on. You want to come up? Let's go, boy. All right. See, even Ace, the dog, likes to hang out in the lounge because he's a good boy. But look at this. I've got some memorabilia I've started to unearth. How many people got a papal blessing? I do. Right from the Vatican. How about that? Now, this is an older one. I'm going to be taking a return trip to the Vatican this year, which I'll chronicle for you with Rudy Panada, Eduardo, and my second Italian family. So maybe I get an updated papal blessing. I'll take all the help I can get. And I was going through, I have got stacks of memorabilia and all kinds of cool stuff, but I'll just put out a few of them just so you can see. Look at this. That's actually not an original, it's a reprint. But that ad was in every comic book every kid ever collected, right? Getting sand kicked in your face, you know, that whole business. Charles Atlas. Charles Atlas was an Italian, by the way. Angelo Siciliano was his real name. A little bit of useless info there for you. But I've got some cool stuff, man. Look at Stay Hungry. Of course, everybody's got lots of Arnold stuff, right? But how many people have personalized autographs from the man himself? By the way, he was doing great in a full week, 2 weeks back to back. Got to give Arnold credit. 77 years old. He ain't slowing down. At the Arnold, Ohio, the entire weekend, meeting and greeting the fans and taking part in all the festivities. And not to be outdone, went to the UK this year. Was there the entire time, and we actually had a couple of workouts with Arnold. In the morning, you can see that on YouTube, actually, we've captured that. He was working out with Phil Heath and the rest of us, actually at the Panada gym that we set up in the expo. He didn't miss a workout. Very cool, but look at some of this stuff I was going through. Wow, there's an old, look at that setup. That's a David Paul pick. God bless him. Passed away a few years ago, but did some great black and whites. This was actually a photo campaign that we did for the victims of the 9/11 attack. And donated all the proceeds to the Red Cross. Oh man, look at this. I got that. Oh, there's a pumping iron. Of course, no, it's not Arnold. I don't know why people keep thinking it's Arnold. It's Ed Corney. Come on, people. All right, there's it's upside down. Look at that. Muscle Mag cover from another country. I got lots of those we're going to be putting up. So here's an old shot. That's from 1988, I believe. Look at that young man. Showing some early signs. Oh, USA, where we finally got that coveted pro card. And, oh man, look at, I just got all kinds of stuff. I'm going to adorn this whole place with this stuff because, you know, it doesn't do any good in a stack. Speaking of Oscar-winning performances, folks, who could forget my big role as Uriel, the Archangel from Demons at the Door. I know, folks, I know you're thinking, where can I see this spectacular piece? I don't know. It's probably on YouTube by this point or Netflix or something like that. But
do you remember when it was at Blockbuster? And
it was at Blockbuster. You could actually get it in Playa del Rey when we lived there. You actually could get Demons at the Door. But here's the program from the American Gladiators when we were on the live tour back in the old days. I got loads of stuff. Look at this. Wow. Old newspaper clippings. And look at that guy. Samson's Gym, Rochester, New York. I remember some of this stuff like it was yesterday. More Gladiator stuff. Oh, look at this. Speech 101. That was a short film that I did. And I Am Fear Itself. How about that? That's an acting ability, right? Acting. Speaking of acting, we'll get into the memorabilia stuff some other time because I got just way too much of it. But we got to go over the Arnold, do the official Arnold review, but probably better off served upstairs in the studio. So with a snap of the fingers like Thanos in 3, 2, 1. It is inevitable. A little Avengers there for you. All right, so you've got the updates. We're going to put up, if we can, I'm going to see if we can get some pictures we can show you guys of all the equipment that's coming. Again, that's due in about April 15th or so some great additions coming to the gym. And then we got all summer to shoot some instructional videos because a lot of people are also asking, nice equipment. I don't have any myself, but how do you use this stuff? And a lot of people actually, because Panada has now been making the rounds here in America much more, a lot of the gyms actually do carry our equipment, and a lot of people want to know, how exactly do you use this fine stuff? So all that coming to you this season, but right now we're going to bring you the official Arnold review, courtesy of our good friends at Celsius, keeping me hydrated throughout. Of course, you guys are all asking, how do you get Celsius overseas, Bob? Well, first of all, Celsius is expanding into the UK and around the world, so look for that soon. But in the meantime, we've got these handy-dandy little things, and they, of course, are the Celsius sticks. So all I had to do was put a couple of these in my luggage, and after that, all you need is a bottle of water or a container, and there you go. So, and of course, our good friends at Mutant, they were there all weekend with the Mutant booth, and some of the superstars there, of course, Sugar Sean Ray, the Giant Killer himself, Sean Clarita, and Miss Olympia, Andrea Shaw, all at the booth there. So superstars were everywhere, including Arnold himself. who was very prevalent. Congratulations to him and his entire team, including Brian Powers and Brent Lalonde and everybody else that's doing a hell of a job over there at the Arnold UK. All right, folks. Well, this is it. We got to give credit where credit's due, even though we primarily cover the men's open. Got to give credit to Gabriel Andruli winning the wheelchair. Only 2 competitors this time. There's supposed to be 4. Unfortunately, some issues came up that there was a very limited crew, but still some very good competition. Wellness, Leonida Siobu wins the wellness category. Congratulations to her. And in what some people might be calling an upset, Vanya August wins the Bikini Pro and earns her ticket to the Olympia. And she had a great competitive crew that she was competing against on the stage, including Angelica Teixeira, continuing to make her comeback after taking 3 years off to have a family, has bounced back great, landing in the top 5 at the Arnold and the Arnold UK. So congratulations to Vanya. We'll see you in Las Vegas, Nevada. And in what would definitely be considered an upset, Jacqueline Baker finally gets one over on Ariel Kadar. Ariel Kadar was a 3-time defending champ of the Arnold, fresh off a victory just 2 weeks ago. These two went back and forth. And this time it was Jacqueline's day. Great routine, very strong, probably the best I've seen her, and she finally gets that qualification. These two will rematch definitely in Vegas at the Olympia. Okay, speaking of which, folks, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the Olympia, as you keep hearing about, is in Las Vegas this year, the weekend of October 15th. Mark your calendars, folks. As always, there'll be a pay-per-view, but nothing is like actually being there in attendance at the Olympia and seeing for yourself what it's all about. Every review you ever hear, same thing, right, guys? You had to have been there. Well, if you were there, you would have seen a different show. It's a different show in the front row than it is in the 40th row or watching at home. It absolutely is. So if you have the financial means, or if you're in the area, take the drive, folks, okay? Get on that plane, save your nickels, save your dimes, but come see history in the making. It is also the 60th anniversary of the Olympia. So you know there's going to be lots of stars out and lots of stars from the past, lots of superstars from eras from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right up through till today. And very much looking forward to that. I find myself in a very unique setting because I've actually been a part of the 40th anniversary, the 50th anniversary, and now the 60th anniversary. Because I literally just started when we hit the 40th. So congratulations to all involved, and I'm going to be curious to see how this pans out throughout the season. Who gets that qualification? And history, once again, folks, will be made on the Olympia stage. All right, let's get to our gentlemen. In men's physique, this thing was, we talk about loaded lineups. This thing was absolutely loaded up with Corey Morris coming out on top. He had to beat Diogo Montenegro from Brazil, fresh off a victory just 2 weeks ago at the Arnold, and Vitor Chavez and Clarence McFadden. Making up your top 4 there in men's physique. Very, very tough competition. At the end of the day, Corey Morris once again gets back to the Olympia. He's a perennial on that Olympia stage. Classic. Wesley Vissers stunned the world just 2 weeks ago with what a lot of people would have called an upset, but a lot of people that have seen him come and say, that was no upset. This kid's good, and he's going places. Well, he went to that first place spot again, capturing his second Arnold in as many weeks, and beating Breon, a former 2-time Classic champion at the Olympia, and very formidable still. I still think Breon should go to the 212, even though he did very well here. It was lacking some of the competition that we've become accustomed to. No CBUM there, of course, and nobody from Brazil. Always of note, because anytime Ramon is there, you know he's in there for the fight. Urza Kalasinski, the Miracle Bear, once again up there. This time takes a 3rd place to Breon. Good competition there back and forth. But Wesley Vissers, if I was him, I'd be taking a little bit of time off right now and getting ready for the Olympia because he's got nothing more to prove. He's already double qualified, 2 Arnold Championships. What a perfect scenario for any competitor. If you can win the first show of the year and qualify, it's the best case scenario you can ask for because now you've got all season to train. You can take a little time off. You've got time to kind of let the body relax. You're not under pressure. So he's in a great spot. Everybody asking, the world is wondering, can Wesley Vissers put up a front against the great CBUM, as CBUM goes for 6, I believe, at last count. So I don't know. CBUM is very, very difficult. I got to wonder how much time he's got left or how much time he wants to compete. everybody knows he's been very candid with his battles of not only mentally but physically getting ready for these competitions. It really takes a toll on him. I think if he's put 6 in the book, that's a great time to hang him up on the Olympia stage. We see it so infrequently that I would like to see that. Just if that's what he wants to do. Again, he can hang around as long as he wants. But at some point, you're going to get diminishing returns. So if this is a good battle to be unfolding, we're going to see it. But Wesley Vissers throws his name in there with those names I just mentioned, and we're going to see that play out on the Olympia stage. Okay, into the Open. It was the rematch from 2 weeks ago. Hadi versus Sampson, this time on Sampson's home turf in the UK. He would not disappoint because these two came out, both with background stories going in this. Hadi Chupan did not have a visa approved from his home country to actually get there until about 48 hours out. He got there with about 24 hours to go, according to his trainer, Hani Rambad. So they had to kind of hurry the prep up. They're not used to doing that, so there was some question if Hadi was going to be in at 100%. On the other tail, we've got Sampson, who was fighting his own problems physically and probably even a little bit mentally, as it took its toll. Ended up in a hospital just briefly, just for precaution, nothing big going on, but a little bit dehydrated and feeling a little bit under the weather for a couple of days. He bounced right back, said, no, I'm going to do things a little bit different. Him and Milos parted ways. We went over that in the last VOB. Very amicably, which is nice to see these days, because always there's a story, or it's bitter, or it's like a bad divorce, right? You hear these trainers and these athletes that go their separate ways. None of that took place here. Actually, each gentleman putting out a nice respective message to the other one, saying, I wish you the best. Listen, everything's good. Sometimes you just need a change. The change didn't hurt him. Actually, and when the prejudging took place, it was Sampson, I think, that was, if anything, he was in a slight lead, because Sampson was sharper than the last time. You guys have heard me say ad nauseum, Sampson's got to come in at 95% to have a chance of beating the great Hadi Chupan. Well, he was pretty damn close in the prejudging, definitely sharper than the Arnold Classic just 2 weeks ago. Hadi, on the other hand, came in just a little bit off. Now, off for Hadi has to be taken with a pinch of salt, okay? Because when you say off, well, it's off for him. It ain't off for anybody else. It would be very much on. But you could see he was just a little bit softer than normal, just a little bit off his game. And unfortunately for Sampson, that would all change at the night show. Sampson came back pretty much the same, but then started to fade a little bit. But Hadi actually got sharper as he kept going. With every successive round that Steve Weinberger called, Hadi got sharper and sharper and sharper. And by the time you got to the confirmation round, it wasn't close anymore. It was definitely a Hadi Sampson 1 and 2. No flip of the coin. No could have gone either way. You got to give credit where it's due. Now, speculating the future, this does put Hadi in some uncharted waters because he's not used to competing this much. Now, he's got plenty of time, okay? We're only in March, but doing the Arnold Classic and the Arnold UK, which definitely good for his pocketbook, right? 2 major victories, 300,000. I think the UK was maybe 150 or somewhere in there. So this guy just pocketed about $500,000 in 2 weeks worth of work. So I think he's pretty much good there. But got to let the body relax now. Same scenario as kind of Wesley Vissers is in, and he's got to come back strong and show his all-time best to take out Derek Lunsford, who of course is the incumbent Mr. Olympia champion. So congratulations to both gentlemen. Was it close? Yes, in the morning. Not so much at night. Hadi commanded that stage. His posing was much improved. Got to still watch putting that complete physique on stage. He cannot afford to get any bigger than what he is. Okay? He's already on the shorter side. Obviously, he's very wide. He's got a lot of muscle. If he gets any bigger in terms of pure muscle, he's going to look blocky. That is going to bode very well for Derek Lunsford. Because Derek Lunsford has that small waist, great back, huge V-taper with those thighs. So he's got to be careful. He does not need to reinvent and do anything except show up like Hadi Chupan and has accustomed to be showing up. And then we're going to have a battle on our hands. We'll see it unfold. Got to get these guys next to each other. We all know that. The battle really here was for third place. And Akeem Williams did not disappoint. I said last week, or the week before, I can't remember when we did our reviews on the various channels and podcasts. I thought Akeem was a little overlooked at the Arnold Columbus. He didn't get a good favorable call out right off the bat. Seemed like he was making up some ground in the later rounds, but at the end of the day, he didn't really move up in any of the placing. So I was curious to see what was going to happen, but he came back a little bit better. Let me just put this out there right now. Akeem Williams, from the side, can literally hang with anybody in the world. Anybody. You put any physique, side chest, side try, those type of shots. This guy can hang and beats a lot of them. He's bigger than a lot of those guys, and he's better than those guys. It's when he turns around to the back that he loses a little bit of that thunder, and this is exactly what happened here. He's got to get a little bit better control of his back. It's not quite at Dillette standards when it comes to spreading out that back and showing him what you got. But at this level, you know, every little bit counts, and he's got to get a little bit more control. And more importantly, that skin's got to get somehow thinner in the back. It doesn't exist in the front for him. From the front, he's an animal. And from the sides, like I said, he's got detail in his quads, in his pecs, you know, in his arms, his shoulder delt, you know, into the arm. That area, perfectly carved. But whatever it is he's got to do, he's been making improvements. He was very pleased. I talked with him after the show. And Akeem was very pleased with the third place finish there. Present company was very good. John De La Rosa, fourth place. This guy might have been the best I've ever seen him. This was a much improved John De La Rosa. Competing more often seems to have helped him. Ends up in fourth here to Akeem, which is, you know, nothing against, you know, Akeem, nothing to be ashamed about. Akeem is fantastic. So, but John De La Rosa takes that fourth spot. Good to see him back in the mix. James Hollingshead was there with a hometown crowd, and he milked every bit of it. They absolutely loved him. Crowd went nuts. James has got a lot of muscle, does bring some good conditioning. Conditioning suffered a little bit at the night show, but his Achilles heel still seems to be that waist, that midsection has got to come down. He's got plenty of size, but you got to shrink that waistline down because it's prevalent in every single pose that you hit up there as a bodybuilder. We all know that. It's what cost Phil Heath another Olympia title. Speaking of Phil, we're going to get into that in just a second. And Mo Shaban and Antoine Valiant rounding out the lineup there at the Arnold. So speaking of Phil Heath, I got invited to a very cool movie premiere. They've been working on this for some years, as most people know. And they finally came out with a premiere that was there. We had a whole theater to ourselves. This was absolutely the coolest thing I've ever seen. Red carpet event, very well put together. And we actually got a chance to sit there and watch this thing unfold. What a great job they did. What a great documentary. If you like documentaries, this stuff, you got to catch this one, okay? Phil really opens up. I mean, he puts it all out there, things I didn't even know. And I've known Phil since he was an amateur. And, you know, he really put it out there for the cameras. And, you know, you got to appreciate that. It's not easy to put, you know, yourself out there in a vulnerable manner, especially when you're such a high-profile athlete like Phil is. And he did great. I mean, it was well received, well shot. The coolest thing about it is it's not really a bodybuilding movie. I know it's going to sound a little strange, but stick with me, everybody. It's kind of more of a look into an athlete's life, his history, how he came to be, how he ended up in that position. But it's not technically about bodybuilding. It just happened to be what he does. And you'll see that if you take a look, and I believe that's going to be out or is out now, you can catch that. Definitely take the time and watch it. Congratulations to Phil and Cherie and everybody else that was associated with it. He had some of the crew that was actually there. I gave him complete accolades and props because this was well done. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for another edition of The Voice of Bodybuilding. We'll be back next week. Got a week off, then it's off to FIBO overseas. So we got all kinds of topics that are going to be coming up this week.